Hey, good evening, everybody. We're going to start this webinar in just a couple moments here. I know there's a couple of you that are still coming on to this webinar, and it looks like everybody's on their laptop, which is perfect. This webinar is going to be a conjunction of both videos of the actual technique and a little bit of PowerPoint as well. So we actually pre-filmed a lot of the hands-on technique of how to do aesthetic rejuvenation with this actual tool. So we're going to start with a couple minutes. Just waiting for a few to download the app and get on here. We are recording this webinar, so if you do have any, you want to go back to the videos, we will be setting this out so you guys can review it once again. Now, a couple of housekeeping stuff before we get started here. Now, we would love to have questions. So if you do have any kind of questions that you want us to answer, throw them in the chat box down below, and we'll get them either as we're going through this webinar or at the very end of this webinar as we're going today. Other thing as well, we actually have a nice little discount on one of our products here as well. It's called the Aesthetic Rejuvenation Series. With that Aesthetic Rejuvenation Series, you receive the small blade that's specific for the face. Now, if you do have the larger one, that's okay. You can still use that. It may be slightly easier to use the smaller one when you're working on all the small pieces of the face. Now, on your webinar, you can actually see a green bar. This is use coupon code FACE, get 10% off. What you can do is you can click on that actual button there, which says click here. At checkout, apply the coupon code FACE, F-A-C-E. It's going to knock off 10%. It's also going to give you free shipping anywhere in Canada and the USA and Australia as well. So we're just going to go for a couple minutes here, then we'll get started and we'll roll right into this webinar. We'll go for about 45 minutes today. With our videos, it will take a little bit longer as well. We're actually going to go through each and every single step. So we have a 9-step process to how to do the Aesthetic Rejuvenation Series, where you can learn how to actually do these techniques. So we're going to start off in about 2 minutes. Grab a coffee, grab a notebook if you like to take notes, and get ready for the next half hour, 40 minutes to go through these Aesthetic Rejuvenation Series program. Okay, so let's get started here. We're just going to spend about half hour, 45 minutes. So if you have one of our MTD blades, that's really awesome. You can use this technique right away. If you do have any other kind of tools, you can use this as well. We'll give you guys a 9-step program of how to do the actual techniques to improve lymphatics, tighten up skin, and give an overall better glow. Now, if you're not familiar with our company, we're the m2dblade.com. We've been around for about 7-8 years now. We manufacture instrument assisted soft tissue mobilization tools. We've been typically in the space of fitness trainers, chiropractors, physical therapists, massage therapists for the last 8 years, really focusing on education. Now, we come up with this new program. We launched it actually a couple weeks ago in North America. We've been teaching this Aesthetic Rejuvenation Series for about 3 years, typically in Singapore and Manila, where you can take this live course and learn how to actually do this technique. We just started bringing it over to Canada right now. We're specifically going online. We're giving these free education webinars, and we're not 100% sure about our live courses at the moment, depending on where the landscape of this coronavirus rolls out to be. Currently, we have a couple of live courses, not till the end of April. So I'm just looking at my notes here. Everything in Asia has been postponed up until this date. So again, if you are here from Manila or Singapore, always shoot us an email. You can shoot Lyneth an email directly at lyneth@mtdblade.com. So thank you for joining us today. We're going to spend the next half hour, 40 minutes learning Aesthetic Rejuvenation Series program. We're really excited. This is a really cool product. We get a ton of great feedback with this program. Now, I don't want to be too salesy. Our whole goal with this new program is to provide great content so we can take this technique and apply it directly to your clients. Or if you're taking a couple of weeks off, you can actually practice this technique on yourself, on your husband. I'm a male myself. I love getting this stuff done. I love to have that kind of that flow and a clear face and a clear complexion. So this is a really great for me as well. So for the next half hour, like we said, we want to give you guys a ton of free stuff. I know this industry specifically, whether you're a massage therapist, chiropractor, physical therapist. I'm here in Ontario about half hour, and I'm in Hamilton, Ontario, about half hour outside of Toronto, where most of our clinics are not in operation right now. Everybody's kind of bunkering down and staying at home. So it's a great time to learn some new stuff and learn some new techniques and really kind of expand our horizons, see what else is going out there. So thank you for joining. I know it's been a busy, hectic, especially last 5-6 days. We planned this webinar before everything kind of broke out last Wednesday, Thursday here in Canada and the US. But thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We hope that you can take some of this stuff that we're teaching you guys today and apply it to your clients right away. So we are really grateful that you guys are spending time with us today. And we really think it's a great opportunity to learn some new techniques. Before we move on to it, again, if you want to learn more about the actual Aesthetic Rejuvenation series, there's a green bar at the top of your screen. Click that bar, use the coupon code FACE on checkout, get 10% off, plus that free shipping that you can get as well. So let's go into our actual program here. Now, like I discussed a couple minutes ago, this program has been developed by Lynette. She's based out of Singapore over in Asia. She's been teaching this course for the last 3-4 years, specifically in Singapore and Manila. We started working with a lot of practitioners. We actually have 6 clinics over in Asia that specifically just do aesthetic rejuvenation with the MCT blade. So we have a lot of patients that come in that book just for aesthetic rejuvenation with the MCT blade. So just a little bit of history about the actual program. Now I just got a comment here as well. This is being recorded live. So again, if I speak fast or there's something that you want to review, we will be emailing this out. You can watch this many times. We actually throw this up on YouTube, so the link never comes down. It never expires. So you can watch this as many times as possible, as many times as you would like. We really want you guys to grasp this information, take these techniques, and apply it directly to your clients as well. So more than 2,000 years of history, back to the Ming Dynasty in 1368, when they used jadestone to scrape skin all over the body to treat diseases. These methods, technique, and instruments are based on traditional Chinese method, which we call gua sha. So we use a smaller base tool that's made out of surgical grade stainless steel that replicates the gua sha to help with lymphatics, increase blood flow, help with the collagen, and create that better glow. If you've taken any of our instruments in the past, our original MTT blade has a little bit more that's going through it. It has a double beveled edge, where with our smaller Aesthetic Rejuvenation series, it has a more rounded curve, so we can apply it more like a gua sha stone. Now, with the major difference between gua sha and the instrument assisted soft tissue mobilization MTT blade is the actual material it's made out of. Especially now with all the viruses and stuff going around, we use what's called a surgical grade stainless steel. So if we take that metal and apply and put it underneath a microscope, it's going to be a total non-porous, non-divot, smooth material. So it's not going to transfer any skin debris, dirt, or anything like that from patient to patient. If you're using a gua sha or jadestone, it's going to, if you put it underneath a microscope, it's going to actually have a lot of holes, divots, and misshapes in it, which can trap bacteria, trap skin cells, and transfer it from patient to patient. So that's the major difference, and that's why it costs a little bit more with a surgical grade stainless steel versus a typical jadestone, gua sha, plastic, acrylic, or any other kind of material that is out there as well. So research has shown that gua sha causes a 4-fold increase in microcirculation of the surfaces. Now, one thing that's really cool about this webinar, as well as everything that we talk about, is actually research-based as well. At the very end of this presentation, we have all our research listed that we base our techniques off of. So we're not just making this stuff up. It's not that it worked for me. It's going to work for everybody else. This is everything we're going to talk about today is research-driven. Now, you will see that research is quoted in after every time we make a claim. It's also going to be at the very end of this webinar as well, where you can go through each paper and see the basis of what we're going to talk about today. So research showing that gua sha causes a fourfold increase in microcirculation of surface tissue and can reduce inflammation and stimulate the immune system. Gua sha regulates oxygens that acts to reduce internal organ inflammation, for example, in the case of asthma, hepatitis, and liver disease. The M2T blade, which is the basis of what we're talking about today, so M2T stands for Myofascial Mobility Tool. We're the maker of the fastest growing instrument tool trusted by practitioners in over 30 countries. We're actually in over 50 countries right now, and we're the first fascial tool for the face. There's actually no other tool on the market that focuses on the face. So if you go to that green link above as well, you can click on that link, go to our account. You can actually look at it. With that program, you actually receive a book that goes through all the anatomy of the facial muscle. We talk about every muscle. If we were to talk about that in this webinar today, it's going to be a 3 to 4 hour webinar about every muscle on the body, or every muscle on the face. I'm sorry. So one of the biggest thing is that we want to talk about with the face is that all these muscles attach from the bone and they attach directly in the skin to make facial expressions. That's why this works so well on the face, because these muscles attach directly into the skin, which cause movement in all our facial expressions. So one thing we're talking about when it comes to facial rejuvenation working on the skin is the first step that we always want to do. And when we go to our steps in our videos in a couple of slides here, we always want to create better circulation first and remove any blocks in the lymphatic system. So step 1 out of our 9 steps of the aesthetic rejuvenation series is actually promoting lymphatic flow. So just a little bit of a regig here. So lymph vessels are tube-shaped just like blood vessels with about 500 to 600 lymph nodes attached. There are 2 circular systems in the human body, which is tied and works together to return the fluids to the blood: the lymphatic system and the cardiovascular system. They filter all those harmful substances out. They contain immune cells that can help fight infection by attacking and destroying germs that are carried through the lymphatic fluid. So here's a quick little picture of all those lymphatics in the body or in the face. When we start this with our step 1, when I show that video to you very shortly, we actually work on improving that lymphatic flow with our tool. Step 1 is we always want to improve that lymphatic flow. So the health and aesthetic benefits of facial IASTM. So intermittent-assisted soft tissue mobilization, when we apply this directly to the face, it provides a lot of benefits. So first thing we look at is the health benefits. So facial IASTM healing technique brings a lot of health benefits to the body and helps the treating falling and acute illnesses. The flu, common cold and fever, migraines, headaches and earaches, wheezing, bronchitis and allergies, and asthma, neck pain, and back pain. How health benefits of the facial IASTM are achieved. So how we actually come to these goals and provide better health for our system. So with skin scraping, we are doing pressurized strokes. With these pressurized strokes, we enhance the blood circulation and lymphatic drainage. When we do this, we achieve a release of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory mediators, which is a suppression of pain, inflammation, and allergens. So the aesthetic benefits. So one of the reasons why we're here with this webinar today is to look at how we actually create that tighter, firmer, glowing skin. So some of the health and aesthetic benefits of facial instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization is acting control by unclogging the pores, and we're reducing or improving that lymphatic flow and that blood flow. We're improved complexion and radiant skin. We're going to remove wrinkles and lines and age spots, reduction in dark circles and puffy eyes, and skin tightening, lifting, and cellulite removal. How we can achieve this with our facial IASTM. So the first thing we're going to do is our skin scraping. Like we talked about in a couple steps, we're going to go through those 9 steps of how we can actually achieve this process. And each step is going to have its own specific video, so we can take that. One thing we're going to do differently today as well is we'll also email you out a link, or if you want, you can email us directly, just anton@mtdblade.com. We have a link with all our YouTube videos of the fascial rejuvenation series. So when I'm applying skin scraping, I'm using that empty blade to scrape the skin. We're going to stimulation of deeper skin cells, which is going to create our collagen activation. We're also going to improve the blood flow and by increasing lymphatic drainage. So we're going to create radiant skin, improve complexion, and evertoned skin. With our improved collagen activation, it's going to create firmer skin, and we're also going to diminish wrinkles because everything's going to be a lot more tighter. With our improved blood flow and increasing lymphatic drainage, we're going to diminish facial and eye puffiness and slimmer facial appearance. So one thing we can do with our tool as well is create sinus drainage using facial IASTM. So how do we have sinus blocked? So all peritonal sinuses open into the nasal cavity and drain their secretions of mucus ultimately into the nasal cavity. But sometimes the sinuses drain gets blocked or hindered. So this can help with the cold, allergies, infections, inflammation of the sinuses, and increased mucus, swelling of the mucosal lining, and stasis of secretion and the blockages of the sinuses. So how we create sinus drainage using facial IASTM. So we're going to do gentle scraping over top of the sinuses, which is going to create enhanced blood flow, fights inflammation, reduces swelling, and the blockages to relieve improved sinus drainage. With this, it's also going to accelerate lymphatic drainage and detoxify and clears away the toxins. So gentle scraping, fascial muscles, and pressure of the sinus is going to improve lymphatic drainage, increase the blood flow, toxic clearance, swelling and congestion reduction, and inflammation and suppression. We're going to reverse facial and eye puffiness, healthy skin, relieve sinus congestion, and relieve from cold, flu, allergies, and sinus headache. So by improving this, so we're going to go through our steps of our fascial rejuvenation series. So we actually have 9 steps to improve lymphatic drainage. So the way we're going to set this up today, because we're not doing a live cast of watching someone do it, so I'm going to explain the technique, and then we'll go to our video, and I'm going to show you the video of Lynette actually treating a patient using the aesthetic rejuvenation series. So step 1, so like we discussed earlier in this webinar, we always want to create that improved lymphatic drainage. So step 1, we're actually going to start from the collarbone over top of the throat, moving up towards the chin. So we're just going to switch over to a quick video we can watch as Lynette's actually doing this technique through here. So with step 1, we're moving from the collarbone. We're going from the lateral portion of the neck and moving medial, then back all the way across. We want to stimulate those lymphatic nodes to help improve that lymphatic drainage, to get all the fluids in from the neck and the throat to open up and bruise that. Moving into step 2, we're going to scrape from the lower jaw towards the earlobe. So we're going to start all the way from that middle part of the lower jaw and work our way up into the middle portion of the earlobe. So as you can see with the tip of the MTT blade, now again, there's multiple tips that can be used. If you look at our instrument assisted soft tissue mobilization program, each tip is numbered. So that number that Lynette is using on that number here, we'll go back to that video, is going to be our number 6 on the blade. So next, after you do number 1, so just review, number 1 goes from the collarbone up and towards the chin. Number 2 is we're using the number 6 edge going from the middle of the jaw all the way up to the earlobe. Now, number 3 is going straight from the chin towards the ear. So we're no more inside up towards the actual cheekbone. So with number 3, you actually see she's using the number 3. So in step 3, she's using the number 3 edge of the empty blade to achieve that going from the middle of the chin all the way up towards. Now you can see in that video as well, when she uses her hand to apply that, she's doing a little bit of what we call skin drag. So if you're applying the tool up through the skin and you're dragging that skin, we can apply our opposite hand, what we typically use for palpation, and pull that skin drag out of the way. Now for number 4, we're going to scrape from the outer corner of the lips towards the earlobe. So we'll play it one more time because it went through really fast. So you can see with that number 4, we applied right from that still up. We used that number 3 edge on the M2T blade, went all the way from the corner of the lip up and towards the outside of the ear. And our number 5 was straight from the fleshy tip of the nose, so just on the underside bottom portion of that nose, it moved all the way up to the outside corner of the ear. So I'm gonna play it one more time for you as well. This is one of my favorite ones. Step number 5 is help clear up all that sinus congestion that your patients may have, especially this time of year, moving into spring and with allergies, and they have a lot of congestion to those sinuses. Help clear up all that congestion. Now with step number 6 is very simple. So with step number 6, we're going to repeat step 2 to 5. So remember, step number 2 is going to be scraped from the lower jaw towards the earlobe. Step number 3 is going to be scraped from the chin up towards the earlobe. Step number 4 is scraped from the outer corner of the lips towards the ear. And step number 5 is scraped from the fleshy tip of the nose all the way up to the temple. With that step number 5, we're going to use the most broader part of the tool to make sure we go all that surface area of the tool. Now, one thing we're actually doing is we have a breakdown. These videos are not live on YouTube, meaning you have to have that specific link to view them. But one thing we're doing for you guys as well is that we're going to send you out a link, and then we have a library of each step, label step 1, how you do it, and a video of the steps. So you can go back and practice it either on yourself, on your husband, on your wife, on friends that may be taking some downtime as well right now. Number 7 is to scrape all the way around the nose into the bridge of the nose.
One, two, three. Bago ka mag-start.
So I'm going to do it one more time. This goes by really fast.
Bago ka mag-start.
So step number 7 as well. I really like it myself, especially I work with a lot of outside athletes that if I have patients that come in as well and they're not here in my clinic for aesthetic rejuvenation purposes, I can use that step number 7 to help clear up all that sinus congestion that may have, especially my athletes that may experience some seasonal allergies as well. Last but not least, almost last but not least, but step number 8 was actually scrape the forehead. This works from an aesthetic rejuvenation purpose to help all the collagen and firm everything up across the top of the forehead. It's also really great for those headaches that come across the head that your patients have probably experienced or yourself experienced as well. It helps clear up that headache. Now, in this video, we're not showing going from right to left. Sometimes if you have that migraine that's appearing in the front and the top of your head, I like to personally go from the medial, right in the middle of the head and work our way outwards depending on where that headache sits. Now, last but not least is going to be step 9. So with step 9, we're going to repeat 7 and 8 again. So we're going to go right across number 7. We're just going to be scraping around the nose to the bridge and then going up towards the head as well. Each technique is going to last for up to 20 seconds in that area. So we'll only apply 20 seconds. It's not a very much time to get done with it. You actually have to get done with this as well. So the tool we're using is our aesthetic rejuvenation tool. It's a smaller version of the amputee blade. Now, we just have a couple more of you that logged online. Now, if you want more information, you can see the top green bar across. You can click here, use the coupon code FACE at checkout, and you can get an additional 10% off that aesthetic rejuvenation series as well. Now that's what all our webinar today. So we just want to really show you guys the 9 steps to apply this to your technique as well. So one of the things that we do after we do with this technique is we go what's called facial fitness. Like anything that we do, whether it's manual therapy, chiropractic, massage therapy, whatever your whatever you're practicing, we always need to have proper fitness. So giving your patient those exercises so they can reinforce the movement and reinforce what they're actually doing. So in that book as well, if you do push the Aesthetic Rejuvenation series book or tool, you get the book that goes through all the exercises that you can give your patients to help strengthen those patterns. Now, thank you for joining us today. I know a lot of us are taking some time off, so it's a great way to jump onto a new webinar. One really cool webinar we're doing this week, so we actually have 2 more this week. On Wednesday, we have our canine series. If you have a dog, this is another one of my webinars as well that I'll be teaching. We actually take you through to treat and work with your dog. We give you specific protocols through common conditions that your dog may experience, from hip dysplasia, arthritis, low back pain, techniques that you can do with your dog to help and actually get through with that as well. So on Wednesday, we have our canine. Again, you probably receive an email for that as well. If you haven't, feel free to email us. It's anton@theemptyblade.com. On Friday, we have our Myostretch. Our Myostretch is a really cool program as well, where we combine instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization with a massage and how to integrate those two together. Now, again, if you do want to purchase the Empty Blade Aesthetic Rejuvenation Series, whether you want to do it on yourself, on your husband, on your wife, on your friends, click on top with a coupon and use the coupon code FACE. You get 10% off plus free shipping. You actually get, with that, you receive a book that goes through all the protocols that you could be doing that as well. Again, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you guys spending the last 45 or 40 minutes with us. We look forward to you guys jumping on a webinar with us in the near future, whether it's canine, instrument work, or our Myostretch program on Friday. If you're in Canada, have a great evening. We have a couple of you guys from Asia and Australia, looks like, on this webinar as well. Have a great day. Be safe, be healthy, and enjoy this time with your family.